Hi guys, Dave here from Wolf in the Wild Survival. Some of my friends, some of my co-workers, and even I've gotten a few emails here and there. Sort of a, what's with all the bags? What's the difference? What's the difference between a bug out bag and an inch bag? What is this whole get lost bag thing? Well, that kind of sparked the idea for me to do a video where I basically explain what each bag is all about as I understand it myself. And in the community there seems to be some confusion even. So for the purposes of my channel, when I refer to something as this specific kind of bag, this is what I'm gonna mean. Maybe it might not work with other channels, but I think I've got it down, so it probably will, except for, I guess, the get lost bag, because that's kind of my own concept, basically. So I got everything laid out here. Let's do a reposition of the camera so you guys can see what's going on, and we'll get into it. Okay. First of all, I don't actually have a bug out bag. Surprising, but I don't. This is my camera bag. This is going to take the place of a bug out bag for the purposes of this video. Okay. What I have is an inch bag. I feel that I don't really need a bug out bag because I have an inch bag, which is a bug out bag on steroids, basically. But we'll get into that. So for the purposes of this video, my AV bag is actually taking the place of a bug out bag. So, just so you know. Okay, so we got an inch bag, we got a bug out bag, we have a get home bag, and we have a get lost bag. What's the difference between a bug out bag and an inch bag? Okay, an inch bag, INCH, is an acronym, I'm never coming home. This thing is basically put together so that I can spend an indefinite amount of time in my bug out location or in the woods or wherever it is I happen to be if I need to leave home. And it's not necessarily that I'll never come home, but I'm set up for the eventuality that I may never come home. Inch bag. Now, I did a video about this, and then I did a series of videos where I did a review on each, little thing, which, you can check out. I can't really put links to all of them because there's actually quite a lot, but they're really easy to find. It's pack review. Some aspects have changed about this over the last year and a bit. But, at some point when I'm actually finished everything that I need to do, because there's a few more things that I want for this, but I will do another review when it's done. I called it my bush bag. It's now an inch bag. It's almost finished. I just have a few things that I have to get. So, if I'm going to spend a few days, or I need to spend a few months, or in the eventuality that I need to spend a few years, this is what I go for. Now, a bug out bag, this is probably a little bit big for a typical bug out bag. At the very most, this represents the absolute maximum size that you would want for a bug out bag. What a bug out bag's purpose essentially is, if you need to leave your house because something happened and you are awaiting help from your government, from your church, from your charitable organizations, from disaster relief, whatever it is, a bug out bag essentially is a bag of items that will get you through a period of time from 24 to 72 hours. Some people just have 24-hour bug out bags and they're a fair bit smaller than this. Some people have 72-hour bags and they're around this size or maybe a little smaller. But essentially, you will have food, water, some essentials, plus your basics. Cover for shelter, fire lighting, water purification, things like that. Where it falls short is when you're out of food, you're out of food. This has a fishing kit. It has snares. It will have leg hold traps, and it will have what do you call those? Fishing yo-yos, which are the two things. I want a couple of leg hold traps and a couple of fishing yo-yos for this bag. This has the ability to help me harvest food from the wild, where a bug out bag, essentially, you have food. It might have some minor elements of harvesting food, but essentially it is 72 hours of gear to get you through that time period until help arrives. That's the big difference between the two. Okay? This is assuming that help is never going to come. This is assuming that eventually help will come. Now, some bug out bags are good for 5 days. Some people go a little beyond the 72 hours just in case. Prepare for the worst. That's fine. That's great. But it still falls short of what the capabilities of an inch bag. Why is a bug out bag desirable where an inch bag might not be? This is about 50 pounds. Your typical bug out bag, probably 20 to 40 pounds. So, big difference in weight. I can walk a long time with a bug out bag. I probably can't walk as long with my inch bag. So, those are the main differences. Now, you have your get home bag. The difference between a get home bag and a bug out bag, other than the obvious, this is trying to get you back to your home, and this you're leaving home to go to a second location to await help's arrival. That's the obvious, but what this does, what the get home bag does, is it has certain elements for fire making, shelter building. It has some food, it has some water purification capabilities, or just water, and it will have an extra pair of warm clothing, maybe, like gloves, winter wear. This bag, essentially, what it does is it allows you to effect self-rescue. I am bebopping along, and for some reason, my vehicle breaks down, or I hit a deer, or I go off the road, or something happens. Now I'm stuck and I have to get home. And it's not as simple as, I ran out of gas and I have to go to a gas station carrying a gas can to get 5 gallons of gas so that I can go fuel up my vehicle and get home. No, this is more serious than that. I have to leave the vehicle and I have to get home. That's what this does. There are different variations of this as well. There are urban get home bags where it's less about being able to build a fire and purify your water and do whatever, and more about the subway system's gone down, buses aren't running, I have to walk home, so I have various useful items that are useful to me in an urban environment as opposed to a rural environment or flat out bushland. Okay, so that is the That is the primary difference between the two. I'm going to wait for help. I'm going to effect self-rescue. Now, these are the three more common bags that you're going to find anywhere on YouTube or on the internet or whatever. Your more thinking outside the box type of people might have extremely different variations on these themes. Some of them go minimalist. Some of them go a little more hardcore, a little more military. It really all depends. But your get-home bag, your bug-out bag, and your inch bag is the most common of what you're going to see throughout YouTube and wherever you get your information from. That's basically it. Now, here's where things kind of veer off the path a little bit. Because I've been working on a concept that, in a way, it is a get-home bag. It is a variation on that theme. But I call it my get-lost bag. And it's been a bit of a work in progress. I think I've worked out most of the kinks, filled most of the holes. So, I present to you my Get Lost bag. When I go into the bush, whether it be to go hiking, fishing, to shoot my videos, just to go for a walk, maybe I'm taking the dog for a run, whatever it is I'm doing, if I go into the bush and I don't have my camp pack, I have this. And so along the variation of a get-home bag, the get-lost bag differs in the fact that this assists you to effect self-rescue. This, primarily, its purpose is you know that you're not going to be able to self-rescue. You are hopelessly, utterly lost. And there's really nothing you can do about it. So, whereas this bag here has some elements of being noticed, it has more elements of keeping me alive and relatively comfortable until I can get myself home. This here, on the other hand, absolutely everything that I could possibly get in Safety Orange is in Hunter Safety Orange. That's the big difference here. Now, certain get-home bags might have all of this, kind of stuff, and that's great. I've never actually seen a get-home bag that is specifically designed to put up basically a big sign with an arrow, "I'm over here." Never seen it. So I started doing this. And when I would talk to friends of mine, at first it was sort of like, this is my small get-home bag and this is my vehicle get-home bag. And over time it just sort of, well, no, it's my get-lost bag. So everything in this does basically two things. It is extremely portable and lightweight, and it is specifically designed to draw as much attention to myself as possible. So somebody can come and help me out of this dire situation that I'm in. Most get-home bags will have certain elements of that, but it's more based around keeping yourself warm, keeping yourself fed, keeping yourself hydrated so that you can get yourself home. This more or less does all of that until somebody can come and help you. Main difference. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard about somebody hiking a trail in the Appalachia or wandering off into the woods in Muskoka or whatever, and they get totally lost. They wander around in circles, they wear themselves out, and eventually they die. Be it a wild animal, or from exposure, or hypothermia, or whatever. And when they find this poor, unfortunate person's body, they're 500-600 yards off the trail. They just didn't know where they were, and people looking for them couldn't find them until it was too late. And, well, gee, they were right there. So that basically is something that I would really, really like to actually make a thing in, you know, the whole prepper community, the hiking community, the campers, the hunters, the fishers, all of that kind of stuff. Anybody who does the kind of things that I like to do, that most of us like to do, should have something like that just in case. So I really want to make that a thing. I want to make that an actual thing where people go, that's a good idea. I'm going to put something like that together before I go hiking in the Appalachian. So if it saves one life, it was worth the money I spent putting that together and the time that I spend doing these videos and whatever. That's the purpose for that. So, once again, inch bag. I'm never coming home. Bug out bag. Things are going to suck for 24 to 72 hours. I'm going to be prepared for it, so it sucks a little bit less. Get home bag. I have somehow gotten myself into a situation that I can get myself out of, and I have the gear to do it. I'll be home in a day or so. And help me, I need someone's help. That's what's with all the bags. So that about covers it. I think I said it all there, as long-winded as I am. So thanks for coming out, checking out my video. I really, really hope that this gives you some food for thought. I do have reviews on this bag, and this bag. Actually, I have one on this bag too, now that I think about it. So, you know, have a look at what I have in each bag and, you know, kind of check it out. The AV bag isn't necessarily quite as interesting, but, you know, there are some elements in this that are also in this. So it helps just in case as well. So check out the other videos, decide whether or not you want to build something like that, and then based on your needs, your skill level, and your opinions, take as a template and build your own. It's actually a lot of fun putting these things together and working through it, testing them out, kind of whatnot. So, you know, don't just throw everything into a bag and stick it in your trunk. Play with it. Get it out, mess around, make sure it works. That's why we do this. So, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.